I hope that everybody is still remaining safe, and I hope that everybody's families is staying safe as well. Last week, I thought was a great example of a team victory. I thought we had some key players step up in some defining moments. But one thing as an offense, we want to make sure that we remain humble and we remain focused on making sure that we eliminate the self-inflicted wounds. We want our guys to go out and execute with great attention to details, but also, too, as a coaching staff, we want to make sure that we're putting our players in the right situations and giving them the opportunity to be successful. So with that said, I'm all ears.
Let's go first to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. How difficult and then thus how impressive has it been that Byron Pringle, with limited targets, has been able to come in and make these big catches and then with limited returns be able to do what he did the other night?
It doesn't surprise me at all. Pringle has been, he's been a hardworking kid. I mean, we've had him. He was right down the road at K-State. We knew exactly what Pringle could bring to the table. He works his tail off each and every day. He's a smart kid. And he's a kid that also understands that he has to make the most of every opportunity when presented. So when Pringle's out there, there's a great deal of trust. We trust exactly what he's going to do, and we know exactly what we're going to get from him. That just goes to show you how great of a staff that we have. Greg Lewis does an outstanding job of raising those guys and making sure that they're prepared, all right, when those defining moments present themselves.
Let's go next to Soren Petro. Go ahead, Soren.
Coach, a couple things. I have a follow-up here, Brad. Just first of all, your overall impression of getting a chance to see Le'Veon Bell out in game situation, how he did, maybe some, things that he needs to work on or things that can be expanded as he gets more time.
You know what? I thought he did a heck of a job. He got the rust off. He had some huge runs. I know he was excited. He probably felt like that first day of starting on varsity as a little kid, when you have that opportunity to do so in high school. But I thought he did a heck of a job, but also he understands there's a little few things that he needs to continue to clean up. And a part of that is just understanding the language that we speak. He may know it on a certain day, then it may not click at certain times. But as far as what he's doing, he's going to be all right.
And then on running the ball, before the kneel downs, before the end of the game, you guys were averaging 6.5 yards a carry. And the game, because of a defensive score and a special team score, you only got, I think 41 plays is all that Patrick played in that game. How difficult is that, to get the ball going, to try to get into a rhythm? You obviously didn't need it. You got the 40 points. I'm not knocking you like, hey, you should have done more. But it doesn't present challenges when you don't have that opportunity to kind of get the rhythm going the way you're used to.
You know what's I'll say this. It does present challenges because we didn't execute as well on offense when it came to third down. We got to be more efficient. We have to move the chains. We've taken a tremendous amount of pride in making sure that we can clean up those issues. Now, that obviously starts with us here as a coaching staff. And so we've taken a look at it. We've addressed it. But now ownership falls on our players. And what does that mean? That means, hey, let's make sure that we're studying. Let's make sure that we're out there executing exactly what we need to execute. On top of that, when there's longer situations, let's make sure we're getting the proper route depth. Let's make sure we're getting the proper calls up front to protect the quarterback. And then when given an opportunity, we just got to let it go and make sure that we're getting the ball to the right particular people.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric. It appeared that you guys put an emphasis on getting Mecole the ball early against the Broncos. So I guess, A, is that indeed the case? And then B, could this be the start of him putting more positive reps on tape and maybe the start of a trend in a positive direction for Mecole?
Well, first of all, I'll start backwards. I'm hoping that it is a positive trend. I thought he did a heck of a job of starting the game off for us. I mean, he had two explosive plays. The kid he's a tremendous kid. He's a very intelligent kid. But the thing that we talk about all the time is making sure that he's straining the finish and making sure that that second effort is always there. Because my biggest conversations that I always discuss with him is not what he's going to do when the ball is in his hands, is what he's going to do when the ball is not in his hands. And that's the mindset that we want to take, because we want all of our players understanding, okay, the importance of what they do and how it impacts others. So we're counting on him to step that role up, but also to continue to trend in the direction that he's heading.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, wanted to ask about Eric Fisher. what signs, he had some rough moments early in his career, obviously. What signs did you see back then that he was going to become the player that he is for you now?
Yeah, one thing I will say, Fish is, first of all, he's a great kid. And I will say this, he's had his struggles, but you know what? That kid has never, ever turned down from a fight. He's found a way to persevere through adversity. He'll tell you he hasn't had a lot of proud moments. But one thing that you see as his confidence started to develop, as he overcame all the injuries, he started changing his body by developing the strength that he needed. Strength and conditioning guys did an outstanding job with him. And then just building in the faith in what Coach Eck was telling him. And so you combine all that. Now he's starting to step up and do a lot of good things. Now you got to understand he plays a position that's always going to be criticized because he's the left tackle. But with that comes a great deal of expectations. And he understands that, hey, I have to be on top of my game each and every day. And like I said, if he makes a mistake, we're okay with that. The thing I'm more than anything is want to judge him on is how he responds the very next play. That's all that matters. But the kid has taken giant steps forward. We want to continue to see him grow in that right direction.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Eric, Patrick talked to us this week and after the game about the fact that he feels like he's taking fewer risks because the defense necessitates fewer risks. Is that a conversation you had at any point, whether it's after his rookie year, about some of the risk he did used to take early in his career and maybe trying to eliminate some of them?
Well, he's a gunslinger. He wants to go out there and show off exactly what he can do. But I don't know if it's necessarily that he's not taking risk. I think what has happened is that he's doing a better job of just taking what is given because, those guys are playing far and beyond what we expected sometimes. But one thing that he's doing, he's just finding the open guy. And in those short to medium range, we got some guys that can catch and turn up and make some special things happen. So that just comes with maturity. That also comes with just a growth process and understanding what we're doing, but also understanding how teams are lining up and playing against us. So kudos to Pat. I'm very proud of where he is right now, but he also understands that he got to keep chopping that wood and keep cleaning up the little detailed things that's going to continue to help him be the special player that we're expecting him to be.
We've got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Matt, Derek, and then Darren. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned with Le'Veon about having a few things to clean up, and just curious about, a new guy coming in and working into the passing game in particular. How difficult is it for him to be able to come in and, pick up those hot reads, get the timing down and the screen game and all those things?
It's very difficult. Now, I will say this, Le'Veon is a very, very intelligent football player. It's a kid who's played a number of years and been in a few systems now. So he's a football junkie. During that time, he was going through the COVID protocols. He was obviously spending time meeting with Coach Dillon, Coach Sherman. Coach Anthony Sherman spent time with him as well. And so the language he's starting to pick up. And so after a while, you start correlating things with what you've done in the past. And so those words kind of mean something to him. So the thing is that the kid he's taking on the challenge. He wants to play. He's investing the time in it off the field. But when you go out there and see him on the practice field, you're seeing some great production and some great work. And you're seeing that the kid gets it and he understands exactly what we're expecting from him when utilizing a certain play.
Go last to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Coach, good afternoon to you. My question, I know I asked you last week with the addition of Le'Veon Bell, obviously the amount of reps that the players, would get, would cut down. Obviously, Darwin Thompson, Darrell Williams did not get any reps last week. How did they take it? Did you talk to them about it after the game? And, going further, obviously, as you mentioned, their reps will probably be decreased with his addition. How have they taken it thus far?
Well, one thing you expect from all your players, you expect them to remain professional. And in this industry, you can't worry about the things you cannot control. The only thing that you can continue to control are the things that you can. Now, understanding that when those guys are getting reps in practice, they got to maximize those opportunities. The unfortunate thing, and I knock on wood when I say this, injuries happen. All right. Now we're feeling pretty comfortable because we got Clyde and we have Le'Veon, but we also know that we got great depth behind those two. We know we got Darrell Williams. We know we got Darwin Thompson. We also know we got DeAndre Washington. So we're solid at that position. But the thing that I always harp to these guys is to understand that you are always interviewing and always making sure that you're preparing yourself to be the starter when called upon. So yes, I am expecting those guys to remain professional. Unfortunately, this is the tough part about this business, and understanding. I've been there. I've been there as a player, so I understand. But you got to make sure that you understand that you do have value. Okay, so it's important that they define their value each and every day.